All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Detroit Lions in today's video. Yesterday, you guys took down San Francisco 40-34 on the road. I have a huge, very quick rant about that. But the defense is getting absolutely decimated. For example, over the last 4 games, Detroit's defense has allowed an average of 32.5 points per game. But on the contrary, its offense is putting up 37.5 points per game. Now, I will just say this. Here's Kirby Joseph's first interception of last night. This was for number 8 on the season. Now, this is an overthrow from Brock Purdy, and you kind of get a better angle here on this next clip. But the Detroit Lions, prior to yesterday's game, had not had an interception since Kirby Joseph's pick in the 52-6 victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars. To me, they're decimated on defense and they're giving up a lot of yards per game. I don't really care about opponent yards per game. And I'm going to play the Dan Campbell victory speech before we get in, or while I do this quick little rant. There are numerous people in my comment section from yesterday on Twitter, social media, everything that I've read today. There are so many people who have already given up on the Detroit Lions season. Now, obviously, no Lions fans have done such. I find it crazy that a road game against the team that crushed your Super Bowl hopes, I don't care if San Francisco is decimated by injuries, so is Detroit. You went on the road in a meaningless game. By the way, momentum exists. I was upset at halftime. I'm sure Lions fans were upset at halftime. And by the end of the game, I was no longer upset. I was happy because the Lions just won. Momentum exists. And you have a 14-2 Detroit Lions team taking on a 14-2 Minnesota Vikings team. That stuff goes a very long way. I was watching The Herd today, and he was like, if you're a fan and you're upset at halftime, how do you think these players feel? How do you think these players and coaches feel after the game, after the win? So the whole, this game was meaningless. It doesn't matter. I don't understand it in the absolute slightest. But folks, real quick, before we get any further into today's video, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I was going to just do this a little defensive film study. I've got a couple of plays, mainly the 2 Kirby Joseph interceptions and then the 2 sacks, and then just kind of a nice pressure from Levi and Uzurike. But I don't know, man. A lot of these defensive players are not supposed to be playing defense, like starting defensive games. Like a lot of these Detroit Lions defensive guys, they're not supposed to be getting the amount of reps they're getting right now. And so I think, as decimated as you are by injuries, this is what you got. You got to make do with it. So these guys getting all of these reps, even giving up over 400 yards of total offense, I think it's only beneficial. And one quick real thing before we get into this Kirby Joseph next interception, because I find this crazy as well. The Detroit Lions are 14-2. Minnesota is now 14-2. Up until Detroit's loss against the Bills, nobody was going to touch them. Nobody was going to sniff them. Now, I make daily pretty much Lions content. I make an NFC North video every single day. I'm wearing a stupid Bears hat because I'm from the Chicagoland area. I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. I've been making Lions videos for a very long time. I've been making Vikings videos for a really long time. I thought, like a lot of people out there, thought the Minnesota Vikings were going to be a good team this season. Nobody really thought they were going to be 14-2. All of a sudden, in the last 24 hours, it is not even close. And by the way, it's going to be the best game of the season. It will be the best game of the season. If Kirby Joseph is making plays like this game-clinching interception right here, bang, bang, chicken wang, let me just jump that coverage. It's going to be a gritty game. And just my point is, for some reason, last 16 hours, everybody's calling the Detroit Lions frauds, and Minnesota is going to pounce them. I imagine this will be a 1-score game. I imagine it will be 34-31, 34-32, 34-35, something like that. And obviously it has huge implications for home field. And to me, that's all that matters. If I'm a Vikings fan, that's what I care about. If I'm a Lions fan, that's what I care about. All I care about at this point is the number 1 seed. And it's going to come down to week 18. But people are just saying oh man, if Detroit loses this, they're toast. They're done for the season. Here's another angle, the Kirby Joseph interception. Beautiful. But to me, it's just crazy. 6 whole games ago was their last interception. And it was Kirby Joseph. He's got 9 on the season now. I need Brian Branch to start making some plays out here. I need this defense to start forcing some turnovers, because there's one thing I noticed in that Bills game, for example. There was 1 Lions turnover. The Bills had none. when the Lions win the turnover battle, they're usually going to win the game. And the same thing with KOC and the Minnesota Vikings. When KOC and that team, I mean, he's lost like 2 or 3 games in his, 3 years as the head coach for the Vikings. He's lost like 3 games. Maybe, I think it might even be 2. I think he's like 30-2 or something like that when the Vikings win the turnover margin. Your defense can be shredded all game. The secondary can be shredded all game like a bag of mild cheddar cheese from the supermarket down the road. As long as you're not breaking, I don't know. Every team has flaws, and there's just the Lions are a good team, Vikings are a good team. I just find it crazy. Now, this is a sack from Miles Adams, right? And I want to get this other angle here. All right. Number 42. And now I was going to do a film study on this, but it's a little bit more complicated. I can't show my face, and you guys really liked me doing a video like this post game yesterday, so I wanted to double down on it. Always double down on 11, right? Jalen Reeves-Maybin just made his return for the Detroit Lions. He's number 42 right here. Now, notice a couple of things. I watched the whole all 22, every defensive snap for the Lions this morning. Eating film for breakfast, baby. No better way. We only have 1 more month of this. Got to enjoy it. The Brock Purdy was relatively untouched for a lot of this game, but I really like this play. So the guy who ends up getting this sack is going to be, I think he's I thought he was 56. Yeah, 56, long hair, second guy to your left. Now, number 42, we'll let the play just go out. Just freaking drills whoever the hell their offensive line's decimated. Whoever the hell the right guard is, no disrespect to him. I just don't know San Francisco like that. Just runs him over like a freight train. Al-Qadim Muhammad is right there. Pretty much has Brock Purdy for a sack. But because Jalen Reeves-Maybin just freaking rattled this dude all the way to the ground, he kind of trips up Muhammad, and then Miles Adams is able to just make a nice little play here. Somebody else or I think that's Muhammad, keeping his arms on him, and Miles Adams is able to just get that sack. And they had 2 of them, and the second one right here is Brian Branch. I really like this angle because first off, Brock Purdy, I love when Brian Branch does this. One thing I'm really excited about Melifonwu coming back is he made a play like this, pretty much to clinch that game against Chicago 2 weeks ago. Melifonwu, and he had a couple of hits yesterday that I just noticed, like, Melifonwu loves to hit. This guy hits dudes. He hits them hard. He makes them feel 100%. And I just remember Melifonwu at a lot of points last season just doing what Brian Branch as well at the beginning of the season when this defense was not depleted and the secondary was not depleted. I just love defensive calls like this from Aaron Glenn. Brian Branch is just going to be literally untouched and just absolutely deck Brock Purdy. Even if there was a check down, I mean, you see it at a better angle here. Brian Branch, number 32, right there at the end of the screen. Unless you have like an easy check down, I mean, this ball's got to be thrown immediately. Like, no one's stopping Brian Branch right there. And then this next one is just a good pressure from Levi Onwuzurike. This was towards the end of the game, and this is just stuff I want to see because I've always said it on this channel here. When Aiden Hutchinson went down for the season, I was like, oh, shoot. Right. And then a couple of months pass, and the Detroit Lions had not lost a game up until Buffalo. And the defense isn't perfect, and I would still love to have him. And Lee McNeil especially comes to mind. Alex Anzalone comes to mind. But the defense was still making it do up until the last couple of games. I even go back to like Chicago a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was a good defensive game. I think that 48 points against Buffalo obviously is going to skew every single statistic out there. But number 91 right there, Levi Onwuzurike, just with a great move, just putting pressure there. And by the way, Amik Robertson has been playing really good football. I love the way Amik Robertson's been playing. So we'll get another more organized Lions video out to you guys. I wanted to do like kind of like a film study, but then I just kind of had this rant because I was listening to Nick Wright on the Herd just now saying like Minnesota's going to pounce Detroit. And I bet you if you ask a Vikings fan, whether or not, no matter who's favored in this game, let me say it this way, no matter who's favored in this game, it's an NFC North game, right? I know I'm going to play all 3 other NFC North teams. My Green Bay Packers, they're going to play them hard. No matter whose records is who, no matter where it is, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a 1-score game. It's going to be one in the trenches. Whoever probably throws less interceptions or turnovers or whatever is going to win the game. I just find it crazy how, because I fully agree and believe the Minnesota Vikings are a really good team, but I just find it interesting how that road win against San Francisco last night changed everybody's opinions on the Detroit Lions. All of a sudden, they're now actual legitimate frauds. I don't understand it. Folks, that is it for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I'll probably post this on my Lions channel. I'm sorry, guys. I am trying to get as much watch hours as possible before the new year, pretty much, which is tomorrow. Happy New Year to everybody. I've been yapping for long enough. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't. Let me know down below if you prefer videos like this. I will probably do a little bit of everything, but let me know how you like this style of video. Thank you for watching. I'm done. Bye.